If you own a business in Ontario, you're going to want to listen to this. There's a huge change coming to your blue bin, and trust me, it's going to hit your bottom line. We're about to break down exactly what this blue box shift is all about.
Okay, let's just cut right to it with a simple question. Come January 1st, 2026, who's going to empty your business's recycling bin? Because for thousands of businesses, the answer is about to change completely. And if you're not prepared, you could be left scrambling and paying a lot more.
So, why is all this happening? It all boils down to these three letters, EPR. It stands for Extended Producer Responsibility. And the idea is actually pretty simple. The companies that make the packaging should be the ones who pay to get it recycled. It shifts the cost away from taxpayers. But here's the kicker. This new system is designed for homes, not for businesses. And that, right there, is where the problem starts.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What does this policy shift actually look like?
You know, this didn't just pop up out of nowhere. The groundwork was laid way back in 2016, the transition started rolling out in 2023, and the final switch gets flipped on January 1st, 2026. On that day, the producers, the big companies, become 100% responsible for the residential Blue Box program. And I really want you to hear that word, residential. That's the key to this whole story.
Now this slide really lays it all out. In the old system, your town and the producers kind of split the bill, and a lot of cities would just pick up recycling from small businesses while they were at it. But in the new system, producers pay the whole shot, but only for homes. This means municipalities lose the funding, and they lose the legal requirement to pick up from businesses. The bottom line? The service you might have relied on for years is about to vanish.
So when the municipalities step out, it creates this huge vacuum, a massive service gap, and thousands of businesses are about to fall right into it.
It's a pretty simple cause and effect, really. The new system is funded by producers to handle residential recycling, and that's it. Because of that, your local government has no money and no obligation to collect from the industrial, commercial, and institutional sector. We call it the ICI sector, but really that's just a fancy term for pretty much every business, nonprofit, and school out there.
And this is not a small problem. In the Greater Oshawa region alone, the Chamber of Commerce figures about 3,000 businesses are going to be completely stranded without their recycling service. And that's just one city. This exact same story is playing out all across the province.
So what happens to all these businesses that are suddenly left high and dry? Well, they're being forced into the private market. Let's take a look at what that's going to mean for their day-to-day operations and, of course, their bank accounts.
For these businesses, it's a mandatory three-step shuffle they have no choice but to do. First, poof, the municipal service you used to get is gone. Second, you're on your own. You have to go out and find a private company to haul your waste. And third, you start paying whatever the market rate is for a service that was often subsidized or maybe even free before.
And this chart, wow, this shows the brutal economic reality that businesses are now up against. It can cost up to 6 times more to have your materials properly recycled than to just send them straight to the dump. When you're a small business owner looking at that, it creates a powerful incentive to just throw everything in the garbage.
On top of the cost, businesses now have to become experts in waste contracts. And here's a critical little detail that's often buried in the fine print. Audits have shown that these private contracts rarely force the hauler to actually recycle your stuff. If the market for cardboard is bad one month, they often have the legal right to take your perfectly sorted blue bin and drive it straight to the landfill.
So as you can see, this is way more than just a new bill for a small business to pay. This is starting to snowball into a much larger, province-wide problem.
Okay, get ready for this statistic because it is truly mind-boggling. More than 98% of businesses in Ontario are not actually required by law to recycle. The main reason so many of them did it was simply because the old municipal system made it cheap and easy. Now that that's gone, the province's entire commercial recycling rate is at risk.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The Auditor General was sounding the alarm on this way back in 2021. They were crystal clear. Without a plan for business waste, Ontario would soon face a crisis over where to put it all and who was going to pay. Well, that very near future they were talking about, it's officially here.
And we're on a deadline, a hard deadline. At our current pace, projections show that Ontario will be completely out of landfill space in the next 10 to 14 years. Every ton of recycling from a business that now ends up in the trash just makes that clock tick faster. This image just connects all the dots, doesn't it? These bales represent valuable resources that we're trying to keep in the economy. But with our landfills literally filling up, the fate of recycling from hundreds of thousands of businesses is now hanging in the balance.
So it all comes down to this. In an effort to fix residential recycling, the province has created a huge, unintended challenge for its entire business community. The real question for Ontario's future is, will businesses be able and willing to pay more to do the right thing, or will they be forced to look at their blue bins as just another garbage can?